Week on Primal Instinct. We're taking a spring turkey tour from Nebraska and Ohio all the way down to South Carolina.
Good job! Get the cranberry sauce out. The turkeys are down.
Game Changers presents Primal Instinct.
We're here in Nebraska, 3-day turkey hunt archery with our good buddy Greg Fine, North Star Trophy Outfitters. It's like that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've deer hunted with Greg. Scott's and the guys have hunted with Greg bunches of times, smoked a bunch of turkeys. So here we are back again. We're at the bottom of this timber that's just coming rolling down through here. In the mornings, the turkeys are coming down through here, going to get some water and some food. And at night, they're working their way back up. They're real vocal this morning. We heard a whole bunch of gobbling. They seem to have quieted down now a little bit, but we're going to hang tight and see what happens. Scott's in the blind, probably about a couple 100 yards over there. He's filming himself. I'm filming myself. Gary and Seth are rolling in today. So hopefully we can slam a few here.
While we were getting all settled in the blind in the first morning, Gary and Seth had rolled into camp.
We're here in Lynch, Nebraska, population 264. We're back where we were last year.
When you manage to pull a gobbler away from the rest of the flock, your chances in getting that bird into bow range increase drastically.
Finally, after seeing hundreds of birds, and this bird's right in front of Gary, I'm hoping he can make it happen.
My first bow kill ever with a compound boat on these turkeys, and if you ever want to come out, North Star Trophy Outfitters and Greg Fine, he's got a slamming place out here, and best turkey place I've ever hunted before. Just awesome.
Last year was just a stellar year in Nebraska all around. So far, I haven't seen a turkey.
About 9 o'clock. And typical turkey hunt fashion, there must have been at least half dozen gobblers sounding off, just absolutely hammering up on that hill. It's about 9 o'clock and everything's shut up. Nothing's making a peep. So we're gonna hang out here. Cause Greg did a bunch of scouting and he's seen the turkeys down here a little later in the morning, so it's cold. I put my extra freaking ski hat on, I got my hood up. It's sneaky cold this morning, so we're still hanging in here. Hopefully these birds are just catching a little siesta or maybe eating some worms up there or something before they come down here.
No matter what the weather conditions are, we're in the woods, so the need for high-quality base layers is crucial. With First Light's 100% merino wool, controlling odor and keeping us warm, we're able to hunt longer. Using high-quality gear in the long run not only saves you money, but is a key to a successful and comfortable hunt.
Primal Instinct brought to you by Easton Bow Hunting. Expect the best. Spy Point, the world's best
transmission for comfortable all season. Finest deer urine.
Silent operate. I think these turkeys are working back and forth on this hill. There's turkey feathers all up here. Couldn't get on the camera, but I saw a big gobbler up here, and there's all kinds of commotion. So we're gonna have a hard time finding this. in the dark, and we're gonna sneak in here. I got some roost trees over here behind me, so I put the door in the back. So what we're gonna do is use some of these CEZ reflective stickers on here. We're gonna put it in the blind. This way, when we come up through those woods, we'll be able to see this, pick this up right away, and won't be fumbling all around.
It's been about 3.5, 4 months since Seth and I have been in the blind together, and we're back. Back at North Star Trophy Outfitters, here with Greg Frine in Nebraska. It's April the 7th, so you know what that means. Gobble, gobble. We're gonna see if we can't get it done. We've got Monday today, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday morning, then we're back to Ohio.
Gary's evening started out pretty slow, and the only thing he saw so far was some whitetails.
So it's about an hour and a half till dark. 6:08. We've got 6 whitetails around us right now, but unfortunately it's April the 7th, so I'm not officially allowed to kill them until their season comes in October, I think. So we're still sitting here. We hear one faint gobble. Way far from here. It's kind of windy, so.
Gary did end up seeing a few jakes, but not the longbeards he was after.
The next morning, the guys were all back in their blinds, hoping for a little bit more action today.
Yesterday after the morning hunt, we moved the blind up here. All the turkeys seem to be running this range. It was more setting up for this morning than it was hunting this yesterday afternoon.
Well, it's our second day here in Nebraska. I'm with Greg Fine. We got some birds gobbling where they were yesterday morning, so we're hoping to head this way like they did yesterday. Usually only takes a day or so to get it done here, but these turkeys are in a transition period from being in big flocks to breaking up, so it's a little bit different when you're hunting a flock of 300. Now they're broken up into 5 and 10 and 20, so it's still like a good day at home, but not a good day for here, so especially not responding to calls.
It had been slow. Scott and Ryan weren't expecting to see anything, and all of a sudden these turkeys started to work across the field.
The jakes are slowly working away from the blind, almost out of range.
Ryan had never shot a Merriam, so he wasn't going to be picky. When one of these jakes pop up, he's going to slam it. Their blind is sitting on a slope. Ryan's at full draw, and Scott's holding onto his shirt to keep from falling off the stool. It's not going as planned.
That was a total cluster, you know what? We're just sitting here, bored out of our minds, not thinking we're gonna see anything. And we hear something behind us, and 6 or 7 jakes just go walking out. We weren't ready. I'll just get my plate up. I was gonna sure they were in the viewfinder. Ryan drew back the bow, and I had to grab one of his jacket, and I said, the blind's gonna fall over because we're on this hill here, so being a little tough, so hopefully we got the kinks out now. We're ready for him this time.
Me and Greg decided to take a late morning drive to figure out exactly where these birds went. We did some scouting, and we found a small flock right on a neighboring property.
All right, so plan A got ruined here by a bunch of cattle, which is out of our control. And like that old saying goes, cow chips happen. So, like any good outfitter, Greg went out and did some scouting while we were hunting. And we actually found this piece that's not part of the lease, but it's actually one of the locals. And there's only about 2-acre opening here, and Greg's been seeing turkeys here every day. So Greg went up, knocked on the door, and got permission, and we're going to be setting up here in the afternoons.
Now that they have a spot picked out for Chris's evening hunt, he had to decide if he wanted to go back to the lodge for lunch or just head to the blind a while. He grabbed his bayonet crossbow and was heading to the blind.
It's the afternoon of day 2. The morning of day 2 got foiled. The farmer didn't know we moved our blinds up the top and pushed all the cows up through it. Kind of got a little screwed up there. So the boys ran into town to get something to eat. I grabbed all my gear and jumped in this blind. Keep seeing turkeys in this field edge here. I'm self-filming, got the camera. So, can't shoot him eating lunch or sitting on the sofa. So we'll sit here a couple hours in the afternoon here, see if we can catch one going over his belly.
When we come back, the action heats up quick. Chris has 2 longbeards come into the decoys and may have a chance to pull off a double. Primal Instinct brought to you.
And with Blade $1,000. Once you let it go.
Anytime you're trying to lay down footage of yourself shooting an animal on camera, it adds a whole new challenge. Having the Avian X decoys in the field to keep the bird's attention off the blind is key in this situation.
I just laid out my first Nebraska longbeard. I'm pumped. The other ones start running off. I knew if I acted fast, move the camera over, grab the barnet.
I'm waiting for I
get
can't
the
do
Easton
anything.
ball
I'm
on
waiting for
there
this
and
idiot to
anchor.
do something.
I might be able to just pull off a double.
How you like them apples? I just did a self-filmed double. A self-filmed double, brother. Give me some. Get the cranberry sauce out. The turkeys are down. I gotta call the boys there. We got a self-filmed double, brother.
I was pumped up. I never thought I was going to be able to pull a double. I couldn't wait to show the guys.
Chris proved in this situation how being persistent can really pay off even when things are slow. The tables can turn at the snap of a finger.
Here we are in Nebraska. Greg Fine, North Star Trophy Outfitters, on an archery turkey hunt. Man, you want to talk about a hunt going from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. Greg did an outstanding job. While we were hunting, he was constantly out scouting. We got a little 2-acre plot here where turkeys were coming through every day. Greg knocked on the door and asked for permission, and we got in here. These turkeys weren't acting normal. Usually we've hunted here before, we see 200 turkeys in a day is normal. We were hearing them, we were seeing them out in the fields, but just not in our setup. So we had to change the plan up a little bit. A great outfitter will do that and get you at plan B. And Greg put us right on these turkeys. I have to admit, I was zoning out a little bit, and these turkeys came in, caught me off guard. And not only is this my first turkey with archery, but I got to pull my first double ever self-filming. So I couldn't be happier. I had an outstanding time, beautiful birds, and I can't wait to get back here. The next morning, Gary and Seth are set up in a hot spot, and they're watching the woods come to life.
I'm gonna sit here and wait them out. This field was full of birds yesterday morning. We just weren't in here. But we're in here this morning, so they've already flown down, we're sure of.
While Gary and Scott were still hunting hard, Greg and I were out doing some early morning scouting.
Well, some of the perks of being tagged out. Last day for Scott and I, but Gary and Seth are still here. Last night they roosted a bunch of birds up in that tree. So this morning Greg and I came out and set up. We got some recon on these birds. Wanted to see where they're at, where they're coming down, and where they go to. So this way this afternoon those guys can set up, get all ready to go.
Gary wasn't having a lot of action, but just enough to keep him on edge, hoping one of these Miriam Longbeards would step out.
We just got a couple of jakes, 4 jakes out here in the field. They're not the slightest bit interested in the decoys, so I don't know. Probably because there are a lot of toms in here and they've been beat up a little bit, so.
Gary decided to make an adjustment and move the blind to a new location for the afternoon hunt.
We got a farm here that we got a lot of birds in here. They're roosting just down the way. We're gonna try to get them coming back tonight. We got the cameras, we got the boats, we got the AVNX decoy, the funky chicken, Flextown. And we're gonna see if we can't put something on the ground.
Gary made the right move. Some birds were moving right into the setup. Primal Instinct brought to you by Palmetto State Armory, Awake the Iron. And by these fine sponsors.
Miles. Generation.
360 protection. The
Evolved Harvest Mean Bean Crush. Grow more groceries per acre.
Gary ended up not connecting on a Merriam, but he was far from discouraged. His spring turkey hunting was just getting started.
We're up here at our Danville lease. Last year, I was done in the first 20 minutes. This year, we haven't even heard a bird on our property. This place is usually run over with 2,000 birds. And apparently they went to Nebraska. Because we've heard one bird gobble way across the road. And that's all we've heard.
It was a rainy morning, so Gary and Seth decided to just stay put in the blind.
A little bit later in the morning, some birds finally made their way into the field. Two longbeards eventually showed up. There's a gun and a bow in the blind. Just maybe, if these birds cooperate, Gary and Seth can pull off a double. Once these jigs finally committed, those longbeards came running into the decoys.
Gary is waiting for the perfect shot. The birds started acting a little spooky, so at this point, Gary knew if there was any chance in him and Seth pulling off a double, he had to let an Easton fly.
Gary smacks his bird. Seth lets go of the camera, grabs the gun, and literally smacks down a second bird within 5 seconds.
I just want to let you know, that's how you double up on a torrential downpour rain. We're sitting here, it is torrential downpour rain, the rain stops, we hear a couple gobbles over here to our right. All of a sudden we get these birds out in the field and some jakes saved us. They came out here and started beating up the decoys, but it's so foggy and rainy, it's been tough. This big Tom comes in, Seth's on him, he's going back and forth, I've got the Magnus broadhead, I shoot him and decapitate him, just gone, folds. Seth gets up, grabs the gun, aims out the window here at this other Tom, and shoots him, and he's laying dead over there.
The rain finally quit long enough so these guys can grab a couple quick photos. On this next hunt, we're heading to South Carolina, where pro staffer Shonda Miller is trying to connect on her first turkey. Good friend Josh had been watching some birds and had them patterned to a T. Just as expected, they pitched down out of the tree and worked across the field right in front of them.
Everything is working perfect. All Shonda has to do is put the barnet on the mark and pull the trigger.
Yeah, you did.
Shana put an awesome shot on this turkey. Congratulations, Shana, on your first kill on film.
Next week on Primal Instinct, we're still in the turkey woods. The Primal crew puts their time in the woods in Maryland and Pennsylvania while the birds are hot. Then we head to Kentucky where pro staffer Anthony Coffey jumps behind the camera to lay down some footage. Follow us on Facebook at Game Changers TV.
Only if there's bug spray next time.
This has been a Chunky Monk Media.